Hey brother, what's going on? I'm JK Amazy, founder and head coach at Reboot and Elevated Recovery. And today I'm going to be responding to a question by a brother in our group, which is a rather relevant question because if you've been following me for a while, this might clear up some misconceptions you have. So I'm just going to read it out. This brother asks, what's the deal with JK telling us not to count days, but then says that we have to wait for a 90-day cleanse for certain things? I understand that's how long it takes to rewire the brain, but still, we're counting days till we reach around 90 days. So any suggestions? So he's a little bit confused because the porn reboot system talks about not counting days, but he's like, well, why do you say that you can help men control their behavior in 90 days if we shouldn't count? Why the 90 days? Isn't that a little bit counterintuitive? And I think that's a great question. He had asked for some suggestions, but there's no need for suggestions because I don't want anyone guessing as to what this means. This is an important concept to understand. So there are three misconceptions in his question, and you might have these misconceptions as well if you're watching this. He says the first one is that this is not a 90-day cleanse. It's not 90 days to set up boundaries and get rid of things that trigger you. In our system, we do those things within 24 to 48 hours. The second is that it does not take 90 days to rewire the brain from your behavior with porn and masturbation. It takes 1.5 years to 2 years based on my experience and the experience of men who have used our system. I cannot speak for any other system except ours. And the third is more of a misunderstanding, but your habit of counting, that instinct, is not going to disappear overnight. Most men will still find themselves counting for up to 90 days inadvertently. Beyond that, it gets tougher to keep track because you will start to realize that ending your behavior with pornography and masturbation is less about time off pornography and masturbation and more about changing yourself. So what's the deal with 90 days? Well, it's not that big a deal. That much is certain. It's only a big deal when you struggle with letting go of counting, which is okay. Here's what I mean. Implementing the porn reboot system for 90 days as it is shared in the program will give you control. This is specific to the system. This means that if you have implemented the system, you will have more coping tools and skills, a better understanding of your behavior, that is your triggers, your emotions, your addiction cycle, and an ability to predict when you're about to slip. That's nice, that's all nice and good, but you're not out of the woods yet. Your brain has not yet fully rewired. However, you now have more clarity and control than you ever did. Whenever you hear me say, wait till you get to 90 days as a response to any question, I mean only one thing. Wait till you have enough clarity and control to assist you in making certain decisions. Decisions which often lead to frustrating slips in the past because you didn't have, you guessed it, the clarity and control to navigate those situations. Things like, I want to get back on Instagram because it triggers me. Do you have enough clarity and control? I want to get back on dating apps. Do you have enough clarity and control? I get triggered by YouTube sometimes. When can I start watching it again? Do you have enough clarity and control? Should I try and get back with my ex-wife or ex-girlfriend? Do you have enough clarity or control? And after 90 days of using the system as it's laid out, you'll be able to decide all these things for yourself. You won't need to ask anybody. Of course, if you slack off for a couple of weeks, if you have an unforeseen event affect your ability to implement as much as you like, then you cannot expect clarity or control within that time frame. Which brings me to my main point. Now, I'm a realist. Since life, bad habits, things such as procrastination and other issues may get in the way of you implementing our system fully in 90 days, what's the point of expecting anything after 90 days? The questions you should be asking yourself are, what is this decision which is so urgent that it must be made with absolute clarity and control? I'm JK, your brother in the struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Now, if you find these videos helpful, support our channel by subscribing, by sharing this with other brothers whom you feel might benefit from it. If you're in another forum, if you visit a church, if you work with a youth group, if you have a counselor or an addiction recovery group, where you feel that they might benefit from some of the concepts here, don't hesitate to bring up our channel, Porn Reboot, JK Amazy, and we'll be happy to help them, to talk to them, to speak, to send them free material. And speaking of free resources, there are a couple of ways that we can help you for free to end your out of control behavior. The first way is to download a free copy of my ebook. There is a link to it just in the description right here below this YouTube video. And it's a very short ebook, brother. It's the roadmap, the guide to ending your out of control behavior. And you can hear from my clients who have been off pornography from 2 to almost 8 years now. We have clients who've been off porn that long. You can learn what exactly they did. So there's a copy to download the book called Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men. And the second way is you can watch one of my free video trainings, which is actually an extended version of the book where I dive into detail live and talk to men about all the different things that you can do to end your out of control behavior. So if you've never had a roadmap and you would like to have one, well, this is a great interactive way to make that happen. And the third way that I can help you for free is to join our free Facebook group. We have a wonderful Facebook group where you can find yourself an accountability partner, where you can speak freely in a private environment about some of your fears, some of your struggles, and some of your frustrations. And you can be at least in a group with masculine men who are all working towards the same goal. This isn't some random, unmoderated group where everyone is running their mouth. We're very specific about the type of men who join our group. And sometimes it might take a while for you to be accepted into our group, about a week to a week and a half. Please do respond to all the questions in there. And finally, if you feel that you're at a point where you would like to end your behavior faster, you're like, you know what, I've made some progress, I've tried some different things, but I still can't control my behavior permanently. That's one reason. If you feel that you're at a point where you need a system, you actually need something that you can follow step by step that's going to give you predictable results, or if you would like to be around men who have seen the movie before, that means men who have traveled that path up the mountain and have their hands outstretched and are ready to pull you up, men who actually ended their behavior, then you may be a good fit for one of our group coaching programs. We have 2 group coaching programs. One is called the Implementation Program and one is called the Intensive Program. And there's a link in the description below this video to schedule a call with one of my Reboot specialists. Just to be clear, all my Reboot specialists have recovered, their brains are rewired, they've worked with me for quite a while, and they are the ones who make a decision and find out whether you are qualified for my program or not. If you get into the program, you will have the opportunity to have one-on-one coaching with me for an entire year for one program and for up to 90 days, including group coaching in another program. So there's a link to fill out a survey, find out if you're qualified, and if you are, I'd love to speak with you. I'd love to support you on your journey. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you later on in the week.